Capacitors are devices that store electrical charge, and in doing so, store electrical energy. A capacitor consists of two conductors that are separated either by air or some other insulating material. When the conductors are attached to a source of voltage, like a battery, the battery will add electrons to one of the conductors and then subtract an equal number of electrons from the other conductor. So one conductor will end up with a negative charge, and the other conductor will have an equal positive charge. We rank capacitors by a value called the capacitance. The capacitance tells us how much charge the capacitor can store on either of its plates, divided by the voltage drop from one plate to the other, which is the same as the source voltage that draws the charges off of the one plate and adds them to the other. So capacitance has units of farads, and a farad is a coulomb divided by a volt. Now capacitance is always positive. It's always a positive quantity because it just tells us how much charge is on either plate and then how much voltage is across the capacitor. So when you use this equation, you should always use positive quantities because capacitance is always positive. So capacitors take various forms when they're inside electronic devices. Sometimes you will see capacitors, if you crack open an electronic device like a radio or a computer, you'll see components that look like this. So this is a parallel plate capacitor. There are two little plates made of metal or foil, each with an electrode attached to it, and in between there is some insulating material to keep those plates separate. Sometimes you'll also see capacitors that are cylindrical in shape, and those typically have two pieces of foil, which are the two conductors of the capacitor, with something like paper in between them, which acts as an insulator that keeps the two foil pieces separate. Then all of this is rolled up into a cylinder and stuffed into this container with electrodes that attach to the two different pieces of metal. Another very simple kind of capacitor is a Leyden jar. And the Leyden jar has an inside conductor, and then there is some sort of jar of material and an outside conductor. And so the inside and outside of the jar are the two different conductors that make up this capacitor.